Hi there, Brady Barrows with the RRDI, and you landed on this page because you must have clicked on something that interested you on this subject, misdiagnosed rosacea. Now, if you're experiencing this issue, we could use some feedback from you and would really appreciate your thoughts on this subject by posting in our guest forum. And you don't have to register an account. Just post and tell us your experience with misdiagnosed rosacea. Now, this subject of misdiagnosed rosacea is not a massive issue. No, we actually don't have any data on the percentage of misdiagnosed rosacea versus a correct diagnosis. There is no data on this, but we estimate that a significant number of diagnoses are misdiagnosed. Now, how does the RRDI know this? Number one, first, there are a significant number of rosacea authorities who report this issue. I'm going to just cite three examples that we've collected. The first one is from Medical News Today. Rosacea Skin Sites, sponsored by Galderma Laboratories, reveals the lengths that women with rosacea would go to if they could get rid of their rosacea forever, and highlight the low awareness and complicated diagnosis path for this common condition. On average, women with rosacea waited at least 7 months before receiving a correct diagnosis, and only half of respondents had ever heard of the condition upon the time of diagnosis. This reveals the high level of misunderstanding and confusion that surrounds rosacea. The second one is from the University of California, San Diego. It says, currently rosacea is only diagnosed by clinical symptoms and can be confused with other dermatological diseases such as acne. The third one is from a noted expert on rosacea, Albert Kligman, who has since passed away. He wrote, quote, busy doctors who cannot take a detailed history will frequently miss the diagnosis, complicated further by the fact that rosacea is a great mimic of other unrelated disorders that present with a red face. I have often seen classical cases of rosacea mistakenly diagnosed as acne vulgaris, lupus erythematosus, seborrheic dermatitis, contact dermatitis, and other inflammatory diseases, end quote. We have 34 more references to other, quote, rosacea authorities, unquote, about this issue of misdiagnosed rosacea. And we've collected these for your perusal on this page. Now, the second reason we know that this is an issue, misdiagnosed rosacea, the second reason is we've collected over 100 anecdotal reports on this issue. Now, it's true, anecdotal reports cannot be substantiated. Nevertheless, anecdotal reports are used in medicine at times. For example, the National Rosacea Society relies totally on anecdotal reports to publish their famous NRS trigger list. And so doctors all over the world quote this trigger list that's relying on anecdotal reports. So the RRDI has produced a list of over 100 anecdotal reports for your perusal about misdiagnosed rosacea. I'm going to cite just three that I've chosen. This is report number 56 that says, Bright Eyes says, it took me approximately 3 years and 6 derms to get an official diagnosis. 63. Pete says, had previously been misdiagnosed by my GP, had been treated with steroid creams for eczema. And 69. LaDonna says, my husband took me to the dermatologist and she said it was rosacea and couldn't be anything but. So he took me to many doctors and finally a wonderful doctor took a shot-in-the-dark blood test and discovered my problem. Later, more involved tests and scans confirmed it. I was hyperthyroid, specifically Graves' disease. So, misdiagnosed rosacea can go either way. you could be diagnosed with something else and later discover you have rosacea, or you could be diagnosed with rosacea like LaDonna was and find out later it wasn't rosacea. So you can look at all the 100 reports we've collected, and we encourage you to add your report to this list. That's what the RRDI is about. Rosaceans Helping Rosaceans. If you add your report to this, you'll be helping other Rosaceans, confirming that this issue of misdiagnosed rosacea is still an issue. Why not watch this video on this subject? Now, what is interesting with understanding how rosacea is diagnosed? For many, many years, diagnosis of rosacea relied totally on a physical examination and taking a patient history. Hardly any tests were ever given. Now there's a growing number of tests to consider to rule out a massive list of other skin conditions that present with erythema. We have 2 posts on this. One post on the type of tests to consider, and we have another post on this massive list of other skin conditions that present with erythema. So, what's really interesting in these tests, that basically a lot of these tests rule out other skin conditions that look like rosacea. The Chinese are way ahead of diagnosing dermatological skin conditions using artificial intelligence along with computer-aided diagnosis, which will, without a doubt, sometime in the future, ensure reducing this issue of misdiagnosed rosacea to a bare minimum. But until that day, when we have this, you'll have to ask your physician questions about all the information that the RRDI has gathered for you. And I urge you to please post in our guest forum how you appreciate this information. Thanks for watching this video.